Hey, welcome. Welcome to our webinar. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's IRIS webinar, Leveraging AI for Enhanced Data Capture with IRIS Extract. It is great that we are together in such large numbers today. I hope, or we hope, you are curious. Who are you dealing with from IRIS today? Firstly, Leo von Busch, business development manager for many years, will tell you how IRIS has harnessed artificial intelligence in its IRIS Extract platform and share his experiences from pilot projects with you. We also want to show you this live, and this will be done by our experienced consultant, Tiedt. My name is Tiedt, Sales Director for Direct Business at IRIS, and I will try to guide you through this webinar. And because we want that you focus on the content and the information, I will switch off now the camera, but I will come back to you in the question and answer session at the end of the webinar. A few notes at the beginning, some housekeeping rules. We are recording the webinar and we'll make this available to you afterwards, as well as the presentation. So no screenshots necessary, focus on the information. In addition, we will collect your questions during the webinar and answer them in the Q&A session at the end of the webinar, if the time is permitting, but we think so. All right, here we go. It took us a while to incorporate the topic of artificial intelligence in its current form into our portfolio for the data capture sector. On the one hand, because we have been working with functions of artificial intelligence for a long time, namely in the areas of OCR and classification. And on the other hand, because the possibilities and forms of presentation of AI-based functions have developed rapidly in the last 12 to 24 months and will continue to develop just as quickly. But as you have come to expect from us, we have tried to consider as many aspects of artificial intelligence as possible and provide a sustainable platform and product environment for our partners and customers. So what can you expect today? We have thought about how we can make the benefits of artificial intelligence available to our customers in a maximum and future-proof way, considering the risks and of course in terms of data quality and data security. We want to show you possible applications that IRIS has already realized and invite you to tackle further projects with us that previously seemed impossible. We will also outline extended ROI considerations. And what is always very important to us as a system supplier for data capture service providers and end customers in almost all industrial sectors is the security of the data and the quality of the results. It is your data. It is your training material. The control must remain with the customer. We will show you concrete examples, share our experiences, and give an outlook on how we can further automate data capture with AI. And now we need your support. It's your turn. We have set up a poll. If you look at the bottom right corner of the Livestorm application of the webinar, you see a polls area. Please click on it and give us your view on where do you see the greatest risks in the application of artificial intelligence. I think We should take about 15 to 20 seconds. And then please give us your choices and submit your vote afterwards. Wow, it's already going up. Data privacy and security is in the lead, far in the lead, by the way. The ROI seems to be already accepted. And yeah, the lack of explainability and transparency and accountability is also a very important topic. Wow, that's cool. Thank you very much for your selection and your choices. And you will see, I think we have some very interesting information for you in the next minutes. So let's briefly review the requirements of an input management system and compare them with your customer expectations. An input management system should be adaptable to process different document types and formats. And of course, it has to be easy to integrate. It has to adapt to evolving business requirements. In the past, we see e-invoicing popping up suddenly, and you have to incorporate that into our platform and solutions. PDF UA in Europe is maybe the next standard we have to think about. We have to allow users to improve the performance of the system over the time during production, right? Without any super specific programming skills. And we have to offer ready-to-use scenarios instead of expensive configurations and customizations. And this is the part of our actual webinar, we have to include the use of state-of-the-art AI technologies. So we call this the hybrid approach. What is the added value of artificial intelligence in an extraction system for our customers? The capabilities of AI must be tamed and its use optimized for data capture, right? So how do we do that? Our philosophy is platform beats product. So we integrate and manage the capabilities of AI services in our well-known Iris Extract for Documents platform. Iris acts as a kind of AI agent. We come to that later. We evaluate AI services and select the most suitable and efficient solutions for capture tasks for our customers. We combine the best of our traditional intelligence with the capabilities of artificial intelligence. And we combine and we check, of course, the output. So we check the automatically generated data with external data sources, internal metadata, or context-based plausibility checks. And last but not least, we integrate humans as the final control instance according to individual requirements. We call this human in the loop, all in one platform. Mr. Fontenbusch will now explain how we have implemented this in detail. All right, so please, Leo.
Yeah, thank you, Frank, for the introduction to this webinar. And as you pointed out, I would like to give some explanations to the three topics which you raised in your introduction. So the benefits of AI with usage in Extract, the ROI of these kind of solutions, and the security of these kind of solutions, even knowing that some AI approaches are in public clouds and you don't know how to control this. Before we start with the integration of AI in Iris Extract, I would like to give you a bit of an overview to the different approaches in artificial intelligence and the way how they can be used and enabled for recognizing and processing information. In our history, we started with customized models, CMs. These are models which had been pre-trained, but they could not be used directly for a specific task. Therefore, there is a possibility in these models for fine-tuning. An existing already trained model is customized for a specific domain or task. This is known as supervised learning, in which the model is further trained on a specific manually labeled dataset. And what we can see there, the number of documents which you need to train these models gets down and down. Today, I'm very happy to announce the integration of large language models, so-called LLMs, such as ChatGPT, into Iris Extract. These large language models are built on big neural networks, and they are based on the transformer architecture. This is at the moment the heart of AI use. These models are trained with a huge amount of text, enabling them to develop a deep understanding of language and also incorporate world knowledge into their responses. But this is not the end in improving the performance of AI models. There is the possibility for so-called retrieval augmented generation. This involves linking the language model to an external knowledge source. This means that instead of relying solely on the knowledge stored in the model, it can also retrieve information from databases, local databases, or documents, and integrate these into the answer. The result is a hybrid system of language understanding and targeted access to current or domain-specific content. In summary, this slide shows how modern AI systems are able to solve complex tasks, such as text recognition, comprehension, and the classification and indexation of documents at a very high level through training, fine-tuning, and knowledge enrichment. As Frank mentioned, another very popular buzzword, keyword is AI agent. So let me start with a definition of an AI agent. An AI agent is a software or hardware unit that performs tasks autonomously. This means that it acts independently without each individual action being manually specified. An AI agent can therefore complete tasks autonomously, process data and make decisions, and finally interact with its environment or other agents. And it is based on advanced algorithms and machine learning techniques. These capabilities enable AI agents to continuously adapt to changing conditions and learn from new data or situations. Such agents are used in particular where processes need to be automated, intelligent, and continuous. For example, in industry, robotics, digital assistants, or medical diagnostic. Now, I would like to raise the question, can Iris Extract act as an AI agent for data capture? To answer these questions, I would like to remind you on the beginnings of Extract. Extract was designed 25 years ago to integrate various recognition engines and techniques. In the early days, several OCR systems were integrated for reading forms. The various reading results were able to significantly increase the security of character recognition, especially for fields without further context. And we invented or used a voting procedure. And with this procedure, we could improve the security of the read fields, and we could even do further improvement with the comparison of the data being found with a fuzzy database. And we were very proud in the early days of this technology. Finally, we added XClassify to Iris Extract, And this has been developed as a learning classification to classify documents and to read data. So as you can see, we used extract since quite a while for different techniques for recognition. And now, 2025, we have developed the AI toolbox. And now, with the help of the AI toolbox, we are able to use various AI techniques to read and classify documents. We therefore believe that extract can be considered as an AI agent for data capture because it integrates various AI models into a data capture workflow, and it validates the result using conventional rules as part of a hybrid validation. The human is actively involved in the AI's decision-making process in the ergonomic verification of all fields that are not recognized with certainty. In AI, this is known as human in the loop. This is a combination of human intelligence and machine intelligence, whereby humans are used specifically for control, corrections, or guidance of the system. Now it's time to explain how we integrated AI into Iris Extract. And our old customers or customers which know Iris since a while know this slide. And this slide shows the overall architecture of Iris Extract. And we added the AI toolbox on the top as the integration of AI techniques for analyzing documents. Furthermore, you can see in the designer module at the bottom that we can configure the AI solution with the help of the traditional designer. And last but not least, you can make use of our ITTC database for business intelligence and for the measurement of the efficiency of your AI solution. And this is the new way how we would like to see Iris Extract as an AI agent for data capture. Now we come to the point which is very important for you, as you answered in the first poll. More than 50% think that it's important that these AI systems are secure. And from an IT perspective, Extract is a suitable platform for installation in an in-house solution or in a private cloud. And when we integrate AI, these AI model stays at your house and stays on your own. So you can control the system and you can control that the data is not used somewhere in a public cloud for enhancing third-party AI models or that they steal information from your company. With our further development, Iris Pulse, we go one step further and we will offer a solution, a platform for data capture in a hosted cloud, which we will offer to you as a service. And still, the three important topics stay as for us. This is data security, this is the flexibility of the projects which we implement for you, and for sure the cost optimization regardless which kind of techniques you use. Now it's time to show you some examples or demo cases. And the first example, which I would like to present to you, is a forms project with an increased requirement for handwriting recognition. This is a project for capturing application forms on which the name and address of the applicant are to be read. With the classical method, we would have used hybrid forms, where third-party ICR engines read the various fields, and we use a voting process for improvement of recognition. The design of the different forms, which can also differ internationally, because for this customer, these forms are for 10 countries all over Europe. And with this number of forms, it's very complex, and the results sometimes deliver only a moderate quality, especially when the form is not designed for ICR reading. This leads to increased manual effort, which we have now been able to significantly reduce with an individual trained AI model. As I said, this was our first experiences with these trained models. In this pilot project, we were able to increase the field recognition rate of handwritten fields from 40 to 75%, with a simultaneous reduction in false positives of 80%, with a training quantity of only around 200 documents. These values meant that the use of AI paid for itself in less than a year. The second example is an interesting one. The project or the task came to us from a potential client, which wants that we do data capture on receipts being uploaded via a smartphone. And people who know classical or traditional data capture platforms, they immediately know that these documents, which you see on the left, cannot be processed using traditional methods because the image quality is insufficient for traditional OCR. Only with the use of AI models and the combination with the validation rule set such as accounts payable, it is even possible to process such documents. This opens the door to a complete new use case in which smartphones are used as scanners. As part of a business process solution, the images can be transferred directly from the sender to the processing solution. For example, meter readings, expense receipts, or insurance claims. They can be processed directly, and you don't need to fill in a form with the meter stands or to have a special Excel table of your expense notes. No, you can individually take your photo, upload it, and reprocess it. The third example goes into the direction of a record management system. This example involves court rulings that are to be automatically classified and indexed for a user portal. The classic digital mailroom method would be used to train a universe and then configure the field recognition depending on the document type. In this case, classification is very complex because there is a very large number of different document types. Each court has its own layout. Indexing is also made more difficult because in some cases there are no keywords which you can use, and index fields are spread over several lines, which is also very complex in data capture. Using an LLM significantly reduces the project effort, as the LLM adapts the indexing individually regardless of the document type. This makes such a project commercially viable. When using AI, the question arises, how does it pay off? On the one side, every keystroke counts. We should count the savings. As a rule of thumb, you can assume a cost of 1 euro cent per typed character. By multiplying the number of documents by the number of fields, by the number of characters per field, you can easily calculate the manual capture cost. The field recognition rate multiplied by the capture cost represents how many costs you can be saved overall. On the other hand, the additional costs for using AI must be considered. On the one hand, these are the project costs, which vary in part depending on which model is used, in particular, whether individual training material and therefore label costs are incurred. In addition, special hardware, so-called GPUs, is required for the use of AI. Depending on the duration of use, the average cost from a cloud provider are between 200 and 400 euro per month. There may also be costs for the AI model itself. These vary depending on the type of model and the number of transactions. And for the example, which I explained before, we were able to achieve an ROI of less than 1 year for an individual trained model with higher project cost, even with a volume of just 100,000 pages per year. Now it's you again. Before we go to the live presentation, we are interested to learn from you which kind of model or which kind of technology which we should like to integrate in the future. So please open the poll and send your answers to questions 2. What is your wish for further integrations? It's not that clear as in the first poll. So we have 3 topics which are interesting. It's interesting. It's a different poll than we had this morning. So you are focused on auto learning of document classes, handwriting, and table recognition. And new applications like smartphones are not that interesting for you. So it's interesting that auto learning of document classes seems to be the top 1 in the ranking, and the table recognition is top 2. And I don't want to tell you too much. We are prepared. But now it's time to show what we have done. And Tiedt, can you please take over?
Yes, thank you very much, Leo. I will simply switch to my demo environment. Give me a second. So what I'm going to do, show you is a sample project that we created to do 2 steps. One step is classifying the document based on a question to AI. And the second is, if we have a classification, then we asked AI to give a number of fields which belong to this specific document class. And the good thing is the questions were really very simple that we need to ask to AI. So also the document class, we can use very simple explanation what we think the document class is. And then AI will very quickly find the correct result. And of course, the difference is the fact that if the document class is a really standard one, then AI knows it pretty quickly without a lot of explanations. But if it's a private document or a customer document, then maybe you have to explain what is the typical document type. So we're not talking about learning yet. We're just talking about simply describing what is the different document classes. And then we are using an LLM model for this solution. This is one of the models that we can use, and this model is very good in generating using multiple languages. So it cannot simply only read English, but it can read a lot of different languages. It also reads, as you can see, handwritten and machine printed types of text, also doing a pretty good job. And of course, what we normally are using an AI model for is to implement something that is not working very well in Iris Extract perfectly. Especially handwritten values on a position that we don't know is not always a good job. But AI does a pretty good job on this one. Also, you can see that reading a checkbox, for instance, the overall satisfaction and the ease of use that were checkboxes, that was read pretty quickly from the document. And it's really doing a good job there. Let's switch to another one, which is a similar document, but with a lot of different text. And yeah, you can see it's pretty good job. Although the challenging bit for working with AI is that you have to explain to AI what you want to know. So if you simply say to AI, get me the full name on the document, then the answer is a little bit more than just returning you the full name. Let's hope that my AI system is working. It's running in the background in a private cloud environment. So this is really secure environment. And then the system will try to find the result. Now it's running pretty slowly, so it could be that my AI cloud environment is not running. And yes, it's not running. I'm sorry about that one. Don't know why it's not running. It's always strange that we have a cloud environment that simply doesn't work, and maybe I can restart it for one reason. I don't know why. But this is running in the cloud, and normally if we run this in a production environment, the application itself simply restarts this AI environment in the background to give you a good result. Let's see if that happens after a while. So I asked the system to restart, but let's have a look at a few other documents. So for instance, this ID card, and we already told the classification question to AI that we expect this to be an ID card and nothing else. And the system identified this Chinese ID card as a good result. And funny enough, it's from Obama. And this is something I found on the internet as a sample result, but you can still see that it's reading the information from the document in Chinese pretty well. It was able to find the gender know-how of this document. It was able to find the date of birth on this document, which you could understand that it's there, but it really read the Chinese text. But you can see also the challenging bit that he says the first name is Obama, but the last name, he gave it back in Chinese. And I think the last name is the Chinese version of Obama. But yeah, that's typically the challenge always with AI, that you have to be very explicit to AI that what you expect to be the answer. So if you have a very huge question, then yeah, you do not always know what is the correct answer about this result. Let's have a look at some other documents. So here I have a document that is a Finnish document, but still we didn't ask the question in Finnish. We still asked every field question in English, but the system was doing a good job in reading this Finnish document and giving me the result. Related in maybe English if needed. So it finds a date, it finds an email address, and it also finds an IBAN bank account number that we asked to the system. And strangely enough, our Iris Extract system, hey, yeah, you think this is an IBAN number, but to be honest, this is not a valid IBAN number. So that's the reason why, yeah, our Iris Extract system still does a good job in validating the results coming from AI, because this is still required. And you know that AI is always very enthusiastic in finding results, which are not always the perfect result that you request. Let's have a look at another document. Here you can see another Finnish document, and also here the result is doing a good job. And maybe let's have I can maybe try it quickly in the background to see if the translation is now working on AI logic. But in principle, so the challenging bit is that if you ask questions to AI, you always have to have the idea, does this answer that AI is giving back to you doing a good job? I think it's not running yet, but oh well, let's ignore that for now. If I go to another document that is working here, then the good thing on this document is that we asked also here the question in English, and this is a German document, and it finds all the results in handwritten values pretty good. And you can see all the top values are nice. And what we also try to do is to read this little table structure here. So we simply said to the AI LLM model to say, hey, give me a logical table structure that has an article number, that has a Pflegemittelposition, which is the value on the document, which has the Anzahl and the Gesamtpreis, which are simply the text that is here on the document. And you can see it did do a pretty good job to find every result, although, well, it's not 100% perfect. It did a good job, but it told me, the system is now telling me, hey, the price on this value does not match the article name that we have as a benchmark in the table information about all these values, which is always good to have a way to test the result, because the result of AI is pretty good. So it's maybe 95, 96, 97% of a good result, but not 100%. So you still have to have some validation logic on every field. So maybe some master data information or some other information based how to test whether the result that you're getting from AI is exactly perfect. And also here you can see that I simply asked the system to give me the quantity, the Anzahl, and it simply gave me the value, which is text on the document. But maybe I had to explain that I only want a decimal value. I don't want a text value, I want a decimal value. And of course, this is something we can add into the system pretty quickly. But yeah, the result is doing a good job. And what is also interesting, I also asked the system, say, hey, is there a signature, which is called Unterschrift in German? Is there a signature on this document? Yes, he found it. And that's there. And it's also finding the date. And I didn't tell him where to look for it. I didn't tell him what I would expect. I simply said, hey, is there a signature? And is there a date for the signature? And can you find it? And that does a good job. Does a good job. Let's have a look at another document and maybe a completely different way of asking things to AI. So this is an email text. And we asked two different questions. So one of the questions is, give me a summary of this email. So what is this email about, without having to read the complete email? And it's giving me a very interesting summary. So you can read it later if you want to. And also another one is, what is the tasks that are written in the email? So what do I need to do based on this email? And yeah, that's also an interesting result coming from our AI environment that is simply giving me the two topics that we need to do based on this email request. So you don't need to read the whole email and simply understand what are the tasks that we need to do in the next step. And of course, if you typically expect standardized tasks, you can give him upfront a task list that you would expect. So is the task maybe an address change, or a new customer that wants to sign in, or other typical mails that you expect with the typical questions, then it would give you a standard question as a result. So that's, of course, a completely other way of thinking about finding information on a document, not finding simply values, but finding the logic of the document. And that is something that AI understands on these kind of documents, and also interesting on different language models. So it still can give you the English result based on a Finnish document, or a French document, or a German document. Very interesting. So let's show me the last result before I want to dive into the solution design and explain a little bit how to set this up. This is a car insurance claim document. And what we didn't go into these type of documents is find different values. This is what we have shown before, that the system will be able to find it. But what we are interested in is, if I get a car insurance claim, is the number of documents, are the complete, is all the things that are required to this request, are they there? So we simply asked AI the question to say, hey, we need 3 different document types. One is this generic claim form. Another one is this typical form, and this is a Dutch one that describes what is the problem with your car, and also an image of your problem with your car. And here we explained this to AI to say these are the 3 types of documents that we want to be there, and then it's a valid car insurance. And he did a good job. So let's have a look at another one. So here I have another car insurance claim form, and here it says, no, this one is not complete. And you can read the answer that is telling me, hey, a number of the documents are not there correctly. So for instance, this form document is not an official type of form for this country. And looking at the image, then you can see it quickly. Hey, this is not a realistic image of a car. Funny enough. But clearly, as you can see, that AI also understands images, not only understands text. And that is also very often helping a lot to get the right information on a document. So as a summarize, we made a classification based on a simple AI question, and then based on the document class, we found from AI, we simply tried to find some additional information requiring what we wanted for this document class. Maybe let's have a quick look on how you can set this up in our development environment, the designer system, the solution designer. So if you already know our solution designer, then you know that we have a configuration environment. Typically, if you use an SPAP application, you would know how this would look like. And for an AI toolbox, you can add here the different document models. So right now, I only have one, a VLM document model with some details to say how the system should work. So that's one step. Another step is that we have a simple list of tables, and it looks maybe a little bit simple, but we do this on purpose because we very quickly want to change it, because this AI model is changing every second. So you can see here we have the number of document classes described here with the class name and the question we want to ask to AI. So the ID card is simply asking for an ID card, but for some other documents, we have a bit more text to explain to AI what the different document type is. And another one, list is also a simple list right now, but you can add different properties. And we know based on this field list what we need to ask to AI. So the whole AI toolbox in the background know what to ask to AI, what is the complete question. And we simply add the field name, the type of format, and the question that we think is useful for a different field name. And then we can find addresses and table structures and every other information. And of course, we can add additional information like only look at the first page or doing other information that is required, which we can then expect how to ask the question to AI. And that's a tricky bit. So this is my quick introduction. Leo, can I get back to you?
Thank you, Tiedt. As always, in the last years, very impressive. And I think you showed all the document examples where you told me in the past, Leo, go away, don't do a project with these kind of documents. I don't know how you feel, but I'm now more than 25 years in this market. And I'm so enthusiastic with the possibilities which we have with the integration of AI models into Iris Extract. Have you seen the table, the order form, and the recognition of these handwritten characters? It's unbelievable. But I would like to give you a bit of an outlook on our future trends and our further innovation. And I think we are prepared properly. As we explained, do the Forms project right now with us. We have a huge experience already. We know that you should throw the ICR engines away. Don't use the classical hybrid forms. Go for AI integration, and you will be impressed how easy it is and how good the quality is if you do a forms project with extract and AI integration. But as you can see on the top, the two green rectangles, we are working on table extraction and auto learning. And these were the topics which you also rated very high. And this will be already a pre-announcement of a webinar, which you can expect in Q3, because we are working on these kind of techniques, but we wanted to show these techniques when they are ready. So therefore, be prepared for a webinar in Q3, where we can show, or will show, how we can do the future classification and how you can make use of the table extraction within accounts payable. Because we are working on that, especially on the auto learning so that extract learns while it works with the documents to classify and recognize new document types. Yeah, and we work, because this is our core market, on the reading on invoices or orders, and we think we will be able to announce a significantly improved AI-supported accounts payable solution at the end of this year, especially for complex line items and unstructured table conditions. And now it's my pleasure to hand over to Frank to lead the conclusion and Q&A session.
As I have promised, during the Q&A session, I switch on my camera again. So we have a lot of questions and a lot of comments in the chats and in the question area. So I will just pick a few I have here in front of me. One is, does the AI agent exist in the scanning software of Iris PowerScan? This is not yet the case. Of course, this kind of philosophy of the toolbox in the cloud, in the Iris cloud, will be provided in the next years to other software components of Iris as well. But today, it is only available in the structure of Iris Extract. Then there was a question, can this AI read handwriting in different languages? I think this is in the demo already answered very well. From Finnish to Chinese, no idea what was on the document, but I think our software was able to manage that. Will this functionality be available in SPAP? As you have seen, we are working on the table improvement, and I think this kind of component will be somehow available in the future in this kind of content to process application as well. But today it's not, right?
Well, it's easy to add it to an additional application. So if it's required in SPAP, we can simply add it into an existing SPAP application.
Okay.
So the implementation is on purpose to simply copy it to any application.
Yeah, but from a product solution, we should wait, and then we will see the announcement in Q3 this year, and I hope that you will be impressed by the possibilities.
Right. Can smartphone be used to recognize a gas or electric company reading the meters? I think we have answered that question as well, Leo, right?
Yeah.
It is of course possible, a classical application we see with this kind of AI toolbox. There are many more, but I think we are a little bit over the time anyway. And so I thank you for all the comments, and we will collect them together and we will answer all of them and send that to you. So let me conclude this webinar for today. So what can you expect in the future? So we focus on customer benefits, right? Every keystroke counts. That's a philosophy too. Efficiency maximization for the capturing service providers and cost optimization for you as a customer. This is our DNA. We focus on the SLAs. So the combination of technical automation and human expertise. ensures the accuracy and the security of your data. And extended data capture services based on the latest developments, well, we have shown you, right? You can rely on your data capture partner, Iris, to always provide you with the latest AI services in a secure production environment. This opens up new fields of applications that you would certainly like to discuss with us. This brings us to the end of today's webinar. So we will get back to you with the download link of the recording, the presentation link, and the summary of the questions that arose, and look forward to starting the next AI project with you. Thank you for your interest. See you soon, and goodbye.